Hello and welcome to another episode of Health and Wellness. I'm your host, Karima Williams, and this morning we are with the Senior Vice President, Claire Day, of the Alzheimer's Association, Delaware Valley Chapter. Thank you so much, Claire, for having us.
Thank you for inviting me.
No problem. So you've been with the chapter since 2001.
I have.
Can you tell us a little bit more about yourself and how did you get a part of this chapter here in Philly?
Sure. Well, I'm a trained social worker. I went to school for social work and sort of made that transition into long-term care when I first got out of school. So I've been working with the dementia population for a number of years prior to joining the chapter and really sort of found Alzheimer's to be my passion.
Wow.
I started volunteering for the Alzheimer's Association as a support group facilitator and then working on their walk committee many years ago and really sort of felt connected to the chapter and felt connected to the organization. Right. So when the opportunity came up in 2001, I did. I did. I was working on the walk committee in Delaware for our Wilmington walk,
right,
and had the opportunity to transition into staff. So it's been a great journey.
Wow. Now, with Alzheimer's as the disease itself, what are the symptoms? What are some of the warning signs?
Yeah, I think when we talk about warning signs, there's 10 warning signs, and you can go on to alz.org to get the full listing of them. But really what people think about is memory loss.
Right.
And when we think of memory loss, it's important to think about short-term memory loss, not our long-term memories. You know, people's long-term memories stay intact even with the disease. Yeah. And unfortunately, it's our short-term memories that help us to function.
Right.
They tell us we've taken our medication, and they tell us that we've turned the stove on, or what we need from the grocery store, that we've paid our bills.
Right.
So it's that change in functioning in our short-term memory that really causes the inability to function in everyday life. Right. But you'll also see people with change in mood and behavior, change in their personality, maybe a little withdrawn because they're very aware in the early stages of the disease of the symptoms and what's changing in them, that they tend to kind of pull back and not put themselves in social situations where they wouldn't be able to kind of keep up.
Right.
So that's where we see sort of a little bit of withdrawal. And I think really the important word is change.
Yeah.
So anything that's different from who the person was 3, 4, 5, 6 years ago. Yeah.
Wow. I've had a family member who've had dementia.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Alzheimer's and dementia, they're used interchangeably, but how are they different?
They are, and they are different. It's a great point that you make. So dementia is the umbrella term.
Okay.
It's really, it's diagnosed as the loss of functioning. So like you have flowers, you have tulips and roses and daffodils. Dementia is the flowers.
Okay.
Alzheimer's disease is the type, right? It's the type of the disease that's causing that loss of functioning of enough severity that it interferes with our daily life.
Right.
So for Alzheimer's disease, it is the most common type of dementia, but there's more than 70 different types.
Wow.
And many are well known, like frontotemporal dementia, vascular dementia, which is related to having strokes, Lewy body dementia, and there's many more rare forms, and there's some dementias that are reversible, but the type that we're talking about that are affecting primarily the older population, but some younger through Alzheimer's disease, are irreversible. It means once the change in functioning happens, you can't gain back those skills.
Wow. Now, what ages or what genders do Alzheimer's typically affect? Who are the most common? Yeah,
so the biggest risk factor for Alzheimer's disease is age. It's about 1 in 9 over the age of 65 and 1 in 2 over the age of 85.
Wow.
However, we are seeing people with what we call younger onset. Those are people being diagnosed in their 40s, 50s, and 60s.
Wow.
Not as common. It's probably only making up about 200,000 of the 5 million in America, but certainly is a concern for community awareness as well as proper diagnosis and early detection.
Right. And you're located right here in the city of Philadelphia, so how has this chapter been trying to educate the community as well as support? I know you just recently had an Alzheimer's walk.
We did, yeah.
So what efforts do you have for the new year in educating people of this, since it's affecting much younger people now than
and I think it's important to remember with the younger onset that it isn't, it's when we forget something as we're aging, that's okay. Don't automatically jump to the conclusion. And really look for those warning signs, look for the
Right.
things that are changing. But our organization was founded on support groups.
Right.
It's sort of how we came to be. And so when we look ahead to the new year, as we do at this time of the year,
Yeah.
we're looking around making sure that we're increasing consumer awareness, community awareness,
Right.
not just of those who need our services, like educational programs, like our 24/7 helpline, which is a vital service,
Right.
800-272-3900, but also to those people who don't think they're impacted, but maybe know a neighbor or a colleague or a friend who they can refer to all of our free programs and services.
Right.
For us, I would love to get to that year where I don't have someone come up to me and say, I wish I'd known about you when my mother was alive.
Right.
There's still so many people in our area that don't know our services are out there and that they
Right.
can access them as easily as going online
Right,
or
or-
calling a number.
As easy as technology is today, you can
know.
tweet, you can Facebook.
Yep, and we're on all those social media sites,
Wow.
so
Do
you
you
can follow
personally
us.
have a story that while you were here with the chapter that was memorable to you?
I have lots of stories, and I have lots of people that I'm fortunate in my life that I don't have a personal connection to
Right.
the disease. I say that I do this every day because of the people that have come into my lives over the last 20 years. But for me, it's about making an impact,
Yes.
and I think for me, it's working with our early stage constituents. I've run a number of early stage support groups over the 10 years or 14 years that I've been here, and really being able to see what felt like loss to them
Yeah.
turn into something positive. I think
Wow.
probably the most memorable, back when we first started our early stage support groups in 2000, we were able to connect one of our early stage constituents, whose name was Don, to our national office, and he became the first person with the disease to ever testify in front of Congress about the effects of Alzheimer's
Wow.
disease back in around 2001.
Wow.
And it's moments like that for me that
Everything's
make
just
me
worth it.
eager. Yeah,
Just makes
eager
it
to
so
get
much
up every
worth it.
morning and come into
That's
work.
so
It's not a bad
cool.
place to work.
Yes. Well, thank you so much. Is there any more information that if someone wants to support, donate, get in contact with? Is there any information that you want to give?
I would just say get involved. Go to our website, find us at alz.org/delval. Call that 800 number, 800-272-3900 if you have questions, if you've been recently diagnosed, if you think you're seeing the signs. Don't be afraid to reach out because there is help and you're not alone.
Thank you so much.
Thank
It was
you.
nice speaking with you.
It was nice speaking with you
Thank
too.